Hello everyone, welcome to the Wine Access Wine Club March 2018 guided tasting. My name is Vanessa Conlin, Vice President of Wine here at Wine Access. I'm pursuing the Master of Wine program, and I'm here with my colleague.
Hi, my name is Sir Lucero. I'm Master Sommelier, Vice President of Wine as well here at Wine Access. Really excited to showcase the wines today.
So each month we bring you a collection of hand-selected wines from all around the world. And together we're going to taste the wines and talk about the stories behind them.
Nice, and if you haven't signed up yet, please see the link below. So the first wine I get to present to you today is the 2015 Mario Schiopetto Friulano. Now this comes from this little area called Friuli up in the northeastern portion of Italy, and they make some of my favorite wines coming out of all of Italy, at least for the white wines. And the wines generally tend to, now the area where this is at, this isn't just northeastern Italy, this is literally the hills that kind of border Slovenia. And the wines generally tend to have a little more depth, a little more power and richness. This wine is no exception at all. It reminds me a little bit of the spiciness of Alsace, that kind of rich, kind of deep, concentrated core of fruit. Think of fruits like peach and apricot and yellow pear and quince. But there's also this really kind of nervy, spicy, there's this spicy, almost nervy floral background to it. So a little bit like rose petal, if you will, but a little bit more like blanched almond and a little bit of white pepper spice. And there's also some exotic spice, even like a kiss of hibiscus, which is a red flower. But there's this really strong, powerful floral lift. Reminds me a lot of like Grand Cru Pinot Grigio, or Pinot Gris, pardon me, Grand Cru Pinot Gris from Alsace. A little bit like Gewürztraminer, not quite as floral, but great richness, great power, good assertiveness, assertive a little bit like a Grüne Veltliner, but a little bit riper, a little more plush, really full. This wine can stand up to things like a roasted pork chop. It can stand up to a pork loin, white meats. It could probably even take on, some heavier, rich braised kind of pork dishes as well. Think of like a German brat, and think of mustard and an afternoon day with cheeses and apples and so on and so forth. And I think this wine has an absolute perfect application for picnics and just sunshine. Just one of my favorite wines we're offering right now in the store. Hope you really, really enjoy it. It's a great addition to this month's wine club.
For those of you who received the 6-bottle allocation, you will also have received the 2016 Granbazan Albarino. So this wine is from Spain. It's from a coastal region, and that cooling influence from the ocean you can really see reflected in the glass. And in fact, some people think they can even taste a sort of like salty minerality from being so close to the sea. So Albarino is the variety here, and it is 100% that variety. And these wines are really known for being pretty aromatic. There's no oak on this wine, so it's really just a very pure fruit expression. And they're also known for having a really great high, crisp acidity, which is something that I really value in a wine because I want my mouth to water when I'm drinking a wine. So let's taste this together. So right off the bat, it's so aromatic, really beautiful notes of sort of white peach and pineapple. And I do think I get that bit of salty minerality in the aromas as well. And on the palate, my mouth is watering. It's really crisp and fresh, and it really makes me think about all those great spring vegetables that are starting to show up at the farmer's market right now. And it also makes me really want anything from the sea. So I hope you enjoy this as much as I do. The wine in my glass is the 2015 Le Clos de Caillou Côte de Rhone Vieilles Cuvee Unique. So Vieilles means old vines, and this wine is from the south of France, from the Côte de Rhone. This is a blend of 3 different varieties that really work well together, that all grow in that region. So it's Grenache, Syrah, and Carignan, and they each bring something unique to this blend. So Grenache, you get this sort of plush mouthfeel, wild strawberry notes, and sometimes some mint and cracked pepper. Syrah can bring this great sort of like gamey and smoky note, and Carignan adds a little bit of acid and some tannins. And what I really love about this wine is, first of all, it totally over-delivers. And second of all, you get this combination of fruit, but also some really interesting savory and herb notes. So let's taste it and see if it is as I remember. Definitely. So I really get that beautiful sort of strawberry, raspberry note to this wine. But then there's also this really interesting sort of thyme and rosemary, savory notes of black olive, and on the nose there's also this sort of note of lavender and dried herbs. It's really delicious. It's very versatile with food because the tannins aren't too structured. There's still some pliability there, so you can pair it with some white meats and some red meats and definitely some vegetables and anything that has that thyme, rosemary, or olive flavor to it.
So the next wine which I get to bring for you within this month's wine club is the 2012 Castello Fonterutoli Gran Selezione Chianti Classico. That's a big mouthful, and it's a big wine as well. Really intense. Now, I guess I should probably start off with the Mazzei family, who's been growing grapes for 6 centuries in Tuscany. Almost essentially royalty within the Tuscan heritage. And they've been creating this, powerful wine at the Castello Fonterutoli estate, and they're utilizing a new designation which just came out in 2014 called Gran Selezione. Like it sounds, grand selection. It is the best fruit that comes off of the property. It gets longer aging. I believe it's 30 months, 2.5 years in oak for Sangiovese. That's quite a bit of time. It has to have a little bit more ripeness. It has a longer extended aging period past the Reserva level. So this is really the marquee wine of this estate, and man, it really, really delivers. Let me give it a quick taste, and I'll give you a quick tasting note on it. Oh, so it's quite assertive. I really like that. About Sangiovese, it usually gets really quite pointed. This wine also it definitely has the focus of Sangiovese, that kind of taut, lean red fruit, but also has a little more depth, a little more richness, a little more roundness. It has more volume, if you will. Really taut red fruits, kind of red cherry, a little bit of like the smoked kind of cranberry, even some kind of like sweeter raspberry kind of type profiles. But then you get into all the beautiful things that make Sangiovese. The rose petal is here. The leather, this kind of dusty, kind of red earth kind of like texture that really great Sangiovese tannins kind of provide is there in spades. It's kind of like tobacco, this kind of like tan tobacco kind of note is also there. This kind of woodsy, cedary spice. It's just a really complete wine with lots of power, really rich. It makes me a little bit hungry. It makes me want to actually grab, a bowl of pasta, some bolognese, or, a pizza margherita and have it, because the wine itself has so much intensity. It can be drink on its own if you like intensity, you like tannin, you like acid like I do. I love that kind of stuff. But after a while, I'm going to be reaching for a slice of ham, a piece of toast with a nice piece of cheese on top of it, something to kind of give and take with the wine. The wine's just screaming for food. It can sit down in a cellar for a decade plus, maybe 15 years. I don't say that about a lot of Chiantis, but this wine can definitely stand the test of time.
The wine I'm tasting now is the 2015 Vermillion Red Wine. So this is a blend of varieties that grow in the southern Rhone in France, but this wine hails right here from California. I really am a fan of the winemaker of this wine. Her name is Helen Keplinger, and this is a partnership between her and her husband, DJ Warner. And she's quite famous for making some of the very collectible, high-end cult Cabernets here in Napa Valley. She has another brand that she owns called Keplinger. She's been on the cover of Wine Spectator. She was Food and Wine Winemaker of the Year in 2012. But her goal with this wine is to make a wine that you're not afraid to just open on a Monday or a Tuesday night. It's really approachable right now, but it has so much depth and complexity. So let's taste this together. That's really delicious. What I love about this wine is there are no tricks here. This is just meticulous farming, a lot of attention in the winery, and a lot of love going into this glass. So I know you're gonna love this wine.
So my last selection for this month's wine club is the 2015 Domaine Gros Noir Bandol Rouge. Now Bandol is right there on the Mediterranean coast within the area of Provence, really kind of overlooking the Mediterranean. There's a really kind of good gradual hill kind of slopes up. These vineyards actually look right down at the Mediterranean. Beautiful area, very, very warm, and you need that warmth and that richness of sunshine to ripen the Mourvèdre grape, which is the predominant grape used here in Bandol. Now, the Mourvèdre grape usually tends to be pretty brewed, pretty broad-shouldered, full, kind of masculine, a dark, hearty grape with lots of richness to it, and it needs a lot of sunshine to ripen it, to kind of soften out some of its edges. Now, this wine is very, very clean. It's very, very aromatic, has savory notes like, gosh, cracked pepper, this kind of wild game kind of element, which I find very, very attractive. There's a deep center core of really rich, dark fruit. It's lightly, I don't want to say it feels like the soul of the fruit is lightly smoky, but it's not from smoked oak. It's actually the soul of the grape itself. That meaty, animalistic, kind of dried, savory herb, it just permeates through the entire glass. It makes me think of things like wild game and, roasted duck or roasted lamb chop or braised meats, and just makes me happy because those are comfort foods for me. Deep, earthy root vegetables would work really great with this wine. It's a really, truly terrific example of Bandol. Sometimes Bandol can get a little bit too rustic and too funky. The Domaine de Gros Noir has a really nice, clean profile to it. It's really polished, almost even has a little bit of elegance to it with the amount of power that it's carrying. It's a fantastic selection. You don't find quality Bandol like this very often. I can tell you that by personal experience. It's really fantastic wine. 2015 is a great vintage. I think you'll love it every bit as much as I do. And thank you for joining us at today's tasting. We hope you enjoyed learning about the wines as much as we enjoyed tasting them. We're looking forward to putting together next month's selections already, and there's some really fun wines.
And if you haven't already, please click the link below to sign up for our wine club. Thank you so much, and see you next time.